Have you ever had a peaceful day suddenly become heavy? Not because something big happened, but because of something very small. A careless comment, a cold message, a moment when someone spoke to you with a sharp tone, and suddenly your mind begins replaying it again and again and again. But here is something strange. The person who caused that moment may have already forgotten it. They moved on, they continued their day, yet somehow the moment stayed with you. Why does this happen? Why do small moments sometimes stay in our minds for so long? A simple story about a bowl of water and a single drop of ink may help us understand. Before we begin the story, please like and subscribe to the channel to support us. In a quiet town beside a slow, wide river, there lived a young man named Daniel. From the outside, Daniel seemed like anyone else. He worked. He spoke kindly to people. He lived a simple life. But inside his mind, things were often different. Small moments stayed with him. If someone criticized him, he thought about it for hours. If someone spoke impatiently, the words echoed in his mind all day, sometimes even longer. Daniel often wondered why his thoughts refused to let go. He did not want to carry these feelings, but somehow they always returned. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult day, Daniel walked toward the river outside town. The air was cool. The water moved slowly between the stones. The quiet usually helped calm his mind. As he walked along the riverbank, he noticed an elderly man sitting beside a small wooden table. The man was shaping clay, carefully forming simple bowls with slow, steady hands. There was something peaceful about the way he worked. Daniel stopped to watch. After a moment, the old man looked up and smiled. "You look like someone carrying many thoughts," he said gently. Daniel gave a small, tired laugh. "Is it that obvious?" The old man nodded. "Sometimes our faces reveal what our minds are holding." Daniel sat down nearby. "I don't understand my mind," he admitted. "Small things stay with me much longer than they should." The old man listened quietly. Then he reached for one of the bowls he had made. He filled it with clear river water. The surface of the water was perfectly still. Then the old man took out a tiny bottle. Inside was dark ink. He carefully let a single drop fall into the bowl. The drop touched the water, and slowly it began to spread. Thin, dark lines moved gently through the clear water. Daniel watched silently. "This drop," the old man said softly, "is like a moment when someone hurts you. A harsh word, a rude action, a moment that feels unpleasant." Daniel nodded slowly. "Yes, that makes sense. But the moment itself is small," he said. The old man smiled. "Yes, very small." Then he handed Daniel a thin wooden stick. "Now stir the water." Daniel moved the stick slowly through the bowl. Immediately, the dark ink spread faster. The clear water became cloudy, then darker, until the entire bowl was filled with black swirling lines. Daniel looked surprised. The old man leaned slightly closer. "Now tell me," he said quietly, "what made the water dark? Was it the drop of ink? Or was it the stirring?" Daniel froze. For a moment, he simply stared at the bowl. Then something inside him shifted. "The drop was small," he said slowly, "but the stirring spread it everywhere." The old man nodded. "That is what the mind often does. When someone hurts us, the moment itself is the drop. But every time we replay the moment, every time we analyze it, every time we argue with it inside our thoughts, we stir the water, and slowly the entire mind becomes cloudy." Daniel looked at the bowl again. For years, he believed the pain came from what people did to him. But now he saw something different. Perhaps the drop was never the real burden. Perhaps the burden was the constant stirring inside his own mind. The old man gently lifted the bowl. He poured the dark water onto the earth beside them. Then he dipped the bowl into the river once more. Fresh water filled it. Within seconds, the bowl was clear again. "Peace returns quickly," the old man said softly, "when the mind becomes still." That evening, Daniel walked home slowly. The image of the bowl stayed in his thoughts, the drop and the stirring. The next day, a coworker spoke to him impatiently. Normally, Daniel would replay the moment again and again, but this time he paused. In his mind, he saw the bowl of water. He saw the drop of ink and the stirring. He took a slow breath, and instead of stirring the moment in his mind, he allowed it to pass. Something surprising happened. The feeling faded, much faster than before. Over the next weeks, Daniel practiced this small awareness again and again. People still dropped ink into his day, but he stopped stirring it. Gradually, his mind grew quieter, his thoughts became lighter, and the world around him began to feel clearer again. Now let me share a simple practice you can try tonight. Before you sleep, sit quietly for just 1 minute. Think about something from today that still feels heavy. Maybe a word someone said. Maybe a small disappointment. Now imagine that moment as a drop of ink in a bowl of clear water. Then ask yourself one gentle question. Am I still stirring this moment? Take a slow breath and imagine placing the bowl down. When the mind stops stirring, the water clarity slowly returns. Remember this. We cannot stop every drop of ink from entering our lives, but we can choose whether we continue stirring the water. Peace does not come from controlling every moment around us. Peace begins the moment we allow the mind to become still. If this story brought you a moment of calm today, you can support the channel by liking the video, sharing it with someone who may need it, and subscribing for more quiet stories that bring clarity and strength. Until the next story, walk gently through your day, protect the stillness of your mind, and remember sometimes the greatest peace comes from simply not stirring the water.